After his visit to France, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in the United Arab Emirates, and now he has arrived in Bahrain. During his Bahrain visit, Modi will be holding talks with His Royal Highness Prince Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, who is the Prime Minister. The two leaders will be discussing regional and international issues of mutual interest. Modi will also launch the renovation project of a temple in Manama. Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Modi was conferred the Order of Zayed, which is the highest civilian decoration conferred by the UAE government. The UAE said that the award was an appreciation of Prime Minister Modi's role in consolidating the long-standing friendship between the two countries. The Prime Minister also met Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan during his visit. The two leaders discussed a wide range of bilateral issues. He also met with the NRI community in Abu Dhabi. This is Prime Minister Modi's third visit to the UAE, keep in mind. In an interview to the UAE news agency, Prime Minister Modi has said that India sees the UAE as a key partner to achieve its ambitious dream of a $5 trillion economy. He said, and I quote, "There has been an increasing interest in investments in India in sectors ranging from renewable energy, food, ports, airports, defense, manufacturing and other sectors. UAE investments in infrastructure and housing are being enhanced. The UAE is our third largest trading partner with about $60 billion of bilateral trade in 2018-19, unquote. The Prime Minister has said that he believes that his third visit to the UAE reflects the desire and the will of the two countries to sustain the momentum achieved in the bilateral relationship. And these are live visuals coming in of the Indian Prime Minister being accorded the Guard of Honor in Bahrain. And now, joining us is Harsh V. Pant, a distinguished fellow and head of the Observer Researchers Foundation's Strategic Studies program. Mr. Harsh V. Pant, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on Wion World is One, even as we bring these live visuals of Prime Minister Modi being given the Guard of Honor in Bahrain. This is a crucial three-nation visit, Mr. Harsh V. Pant, one that will begin and end in France. But let's discuss particularly about Bahrain and how significant it is in terms of bilateral ties between the two countries.
Well, I think the fact that Prime Minister of India is making his first visit to Bahrain is in itself a very significant milestone. Especially if you look at the context of the larger Middle East, where Bahrain has been a very steadfast partner of India and also a very reliable ally. So if you're looking at it or trying to understand it in today's context, where India is trying to get international support for what it has done in Kashmir, that is a reality that we face in the Middle East, where countries like Bahrain and UAE have stood by India. So clearly, Bahrain has been a very, very significant partner historically, and now in the changing geopolitical circumstances, India finds that Middle Eastern countries like Bahrain needs to be given the due that was missing in the past. So I think Mr. Modi has done it right, that he has visited Bahrain, and it's a very interesting context also in the sense of the expatriate community there, Indians there who have been living there. I think 400, around 400,000, if I'm right. A big community. It's very multicultural in that sense. He would be inaugurating a temple, a redevelopment of a temple, of a very old temple there. So I think the relationship is wide-ranging, and Bahrain's role in the Middle East is becoming more and more important, especially for Indian priorities.
Bahrain's role is becoming more and more important as far as its relationship with India is concerned. Mr. Harshvi Pant, we are talking about this at a time when the Prime Minister has been accorded the highest civilian honor by the United Arab Emirates even before he arrived in Bahrain, and that is a relationship that has just gone from strength to strength.
Absolutely, and I think that's one relationship where the Prime Minister has invested a lot. We know that this is his third visit to UAE, and we know that relationship that has given India a lot. So if you see what has happened in the context of Pakistan trying to internationalize Kashmir, and where one of the strongest rebuke it got was from the UAE, a traditional partner of Pakistan, a Muslim majority state in the Middle East, telling Pakistan very categorically that this is a matter that needs to be resolved with India. So clearly India's efforts, Mr. Modi's efforts, his government's efforts in wooing Middle Eastern countries, especially UAE, investing there has paid off. And this is one element which also reflects the irony for Pakistan, that as Pakistan tries to reach out to many of these countries, Mr. Modi is being feted there. He is being given the highest honor. So the symbolism should, it is very important in this respect. And I think the fact that the Prime Minister of India is visiting UAE and Bahrain and is being welcomed so warmly at a time when Pakistan has been trying to rake up the Kashmir issue is very, very significant.
Right. And after Bahrain, you have the Prime Minister being a special invitee at the G7 summit in France, where he will be meeting US President Donald Trump, and that conversation will certainly involve Kashmir.
Yes, I think that would be again interlocutors, in particular the US, that seems to be veering between two very divergent positions. Last time as well, when Mr. Trump called him, that Pakistan needs to tone down the rhetoric. Yes. So I think G7 participation is going to be very significant for various reasons, apart from this Kashmir issue, and the fact that India has been invited there by France also sends in global stature.
Right. And how do you see this entire trip put together? Because it began. The relationship with France is something that India has nurtured very well, mainly keeping in mind in recent times of the Rafale deal, of which the first delivery date has been confirmed.
See, France is one country today which is increasingly becoming India's most important strategic partnership. And if you look at the breadth and the depth of this relationship, I think it is second to none. Now, in this context, of course, you have the issue of defense, where our ties have been growing stronger and stronger. There is a talk of another batch of 36 Rafale fighters being on the table. There is the logistics agreement that India has signed with France on in the Indo-Pacific. There is a framework of reference between India and Pakistan, trying to look at the region through a similar lens. Both value that perhaps is not possible in other contexts, but with France, Indian relationship has been going from strength to strength. And in particular, again, you come back to the Kashmir question and you go to the UN Security Council debate, where France was one of the most strongest supporters of Indian position. So I think clearly French relationship is very important, and French relationship will continue to be important for India, and Prime Minister and the government is right in putting in giving that relationship the emphasis it deserves.
Mr. Hashvi Pant joining us on this broadcast. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective on this all-important three-nation visit of India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi.